Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Breaking Bread Village. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are all good. We are all here right now. I am waiting for Michael to come back in. He was here. Like I said, I had a little bit of technical difficulty. So as soon as is back in, we are going to continue here and just start the conversation. So, Michael MWENSO, he is coming on. He is a fantastic artist that I had the opportunity to see back in November. So I am again going to give him just a second and he is going to come back in. It is my fault. My computer did something weird and it kicked him off. So I am waiting for him to come back on. So I'm sorry, it'll be just a second, but I'm really excited to have this conversation today. And typically, as you guys have seen, I typically have a few guests on at a time, but I really want him to be able to talk about, his journey and everything so far. So just a second. Oh, this might be him. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Okay, that was him. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what happened with my computer. It's just so crazy, but it just kind of did something weird. So there he is.
Okay, I got you.
Hey, I'm sorry. I was just telling them that you were here and ready, and my computer did something weird and kicked us off. Has not happened
That's
before.
all right.
Okay, that's okay.
That's all
Um,
right.
well, I just want to welcome you, Michael. I was just telling them that I had the opportunity to hear you back in November, and it was
Yeah.
interesting because I had not heard of your group yet then, and that was my birthday weekend. And
Yeah.
so I had been gone, kind of doing something for the whole weekend. And I think it was like my mother and my aunt, someone said, there's a group coming in town. You'll probably like them. It's your type of vibe, your type of music. I'm like, I'm going to be so tired that day because it was like we literally were driving back into town. And I said, okay, I'm going to go. And I'm so happy that I did because it was a magnetic, energetic. I mean, just all of that type of vibe. So I'm so happy that I was able to see you guys perform.
Oh, I appreciate that. Um it's a blessing, We're very blessed to do what we do and to be able to have the ability for people like you to come and see us and to be, I hope, feel things. So
Oh,
I'm
it
just
was
happy.
magical. Yeah. So kind of tell me about that. Because you guys did like it was a Harlem one-on-one tour. Can you tell
Uh-huh.
people kind of what that was about?
Well, Harlem 100 is
Oh, I'm sorry, I said one-on-one.
that's all right.
Yeah.
Harlem 100 is it really was a celebration, a musical celebration of that music and that period of that music and those artists, and to do it in a way where we could kind of take on a historical journey, but also a journey of you know playing the music in a way that isn't just in the way they played it. To be able to express the music in a way that allows freedom within all the different genres of the music.
Sure.
So for me, it's something which I'm glad we're doing. I hope we get to do it again this year. We're supposed to. So we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, I remember when it ended, we all were like hoping that it could, keep going because it was just a really good. I mean, you guys have tap dance there. You guys represented so many different
Uh-huh.
parts of the musical journey. So it was amazing. So I really appreciate that. So I just kind of want to talk to you about some of your beginnings because, in my research, I saw that you grew up in London. You're not from there
Uh-huh.
originally. So if you could tell us kind of where you're from originally, how you made it to London, and how that was, your childhood growing up.
Well, being born in Sierra Leone, and then having the blessing to be from Africa and then to come to the United States, and but also to before go to London and to be able to have those free journeys has been a blessing in a way of you get to see three different perspectives of the journey, and also gives you a different perspective of the music too. So being born in
Sure.
Sierra Leone and then coming to London at 10, and then at that age, really getting into the music. And I say getting into music, I mean really being privileged to have been born around the right time, just before everybody was not around anymore. I mean, we still got a
Right.
few shakers now, but I was blessed to see Ray Charles. I was blessed to see James Brown. I was blessed to see Aretha Franklin. I was blessed to see
Wow.
Betty Carter. I was blessed, Abby Lincoln, all these people, because I got into the music around 11, 12, 13 years old. I was playing and getting into it, started performing with bands very early. And it allowed me to really be blessed to have a unique assessment and relationship with the music, because I got into it so young, and also got to, I was the only child, so I was very inquisitive.
Okay.
And that being that, I would leave school early. Ray Charles is coming. So if Ray Charles is coming,
Right.
Hammersmith Apollo, we getting out of school. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like that's what's happening. We ride in the sick note to Mr. Johnson to get out of the afternoon, and we go into that sound check with the trombone in the box and
Wow.
pretending
Wow.
we're in the band, so that we can go and meet Ray Charles. So just get, and that's what would happen if BB King come.
Oh,
We're
wow.
doing the sick note. We're doing the sick note, and we're getting out of school, and that's how it just would be. That I just not only wanted to see these people live, I wanted to meet them so
Right.
that I could understand the differences of the music. I wanted to know how come BB King like this, and he sing this music, but Ray Charles and him are born at the same time, but he played this music, and then this person. I wanted to know what these people were like,
Right. You wanted to really study
and
it.
because
Right. Hmm.
I wanted to really, but from the aspects of the musical part, but also from the aspect of the spiritual part. I wanted to know
Right.
why Betty Carter like that. Why did it feel like Betty Carter was lonely when I went to say hello to her backstage? What's that about? All these things are happening, and I was very fortunate. I had a mom who was a frustrated artist herself. Left Nigeria at 18, 19 to come to study at the
Okay.
Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. She got scholarship, life changed, things happen, I came along, boom, 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 boom. But she always pushed me, when you have that relationship with the single mother and you're the only child and you're the boy, it's a different thing.
Right.
It's a different thing. Black woman too, African woman in London, and Sierra Leone and all the different places we lived, that, you become almost the son and the husband.
Hmm.
So there's a level of freedom that comes with that. So my mom was very free in letting me hang out, in letting me go and wait to get the autograph from the BB King, after midnight. And now there was a man that was also there who really was the guiding light, which was my godfather, who was this, Caucasian man that, was my mother's first landlord in the late
Okay.
1970s.
Okay.
And we got reconnected with him. I'm kind of going too fast now because I got to kind of do the thing. But, my mother married an Englishman, fell in love, and they married, and he sadly died in a car crash
Oh, sorry to hear
when
that.
I was young. Yeah. And he died, and that changed life. And as he
Sure.
died, and as life changed, this other beautiful man came in, Thomas Blofield, who became my godfather, and who became really the spiritual guidance
Okay. Because your father,
of my musical young life.
at what
Go ahead.
age did your father, was he not
I never
around?
knew my father. I never
Never
knew
knew
my
him.
father.
Okay.
My father never knew him, never known him. spoken to him on the phone. I love him. He's a beautiful man. Life is life. I don't harbor any grudge against him. I'm
Sure.
thankful that he connected with my mother, and they had a beautiful relationship before I was born. Lots of love, young love, and he had to leave because his grandmother was his mother was dying, so he had to go back,
Okay.
and then that was it. So that the father figures were interesting.
Okay.
And then you develop, trombone, I said, was the first instrument. And then I'm playing with bands and, of course, meeting all these musicians. And then, of course, the big one is getting really close to James Brown, and then that happens. And then, you develop. And then, the music leads you,
Sure.
the music
Yeah.
leads you.
Yeah. So so just tell me a little bit more about what it was like to meet, the legendary jazz musicians, at a young age. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
10, 11, 12 years old and you
Mm-hmm.
meet did you realize how big they were at that time or were you just kind
Yeah.
of driven by the music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to meet them, because I knew they wouldn't be around for a long time.
Gotcha.
I was very aware that in a few years' time, most of these people would be dead. And sometimes there's been a once or twice in the last 15 years, I've written down all the people I've seen who are no longer with us. It's this large. And
Oh
I
yeah.
was very aware of that. I was very aware of that at 12, 11. So that's why I said I was pushy. I would get backstage and, I don't care if the manager would get upset. Do it.
Hey.
So and meeting them, you realize a lot of things, because the aspect of how Black people change is also in the personality of the jazz music.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, now I'll get deeper into that in a sense of like, I realized that the swing era musicians, they were playing in the Great Depression, Milt Hinton, people like that, Benny Carter, people I got to be around a little bit when they would come London. They had a different vibe to, let's say, the musicians who played in the 60s. Who
Okay.
also I got to be around, and people like that. And that's a general thing. You meet Benny Carter, he has this different kind of grace, this
Yeah.
different type of elegance. And then you realize, okay, that's how Black people were in that time. And
Sure.
then maybe the people playing the 60s are born in the 1940s. So they have a different gurge to them. And they maybe
Right.
have a different. So I was realizing that there was this trajectory of the Black spirit, which really was within the trajectory of the music.
The music. Yes. 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 No, I can dig that. So you worked at Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about that. And then I kind of want to know, because you were hired at a different place, but we'll get to that. But tell me a little bit more about Scott's Jazz Club. Was that the same place that you were at 12, or was that a different place?
That's God. Same place I went to and meet all these people.
Is where
At
you
eight.
ended up working.
You see, God.
Wow. Wow. But
And
see, but that goes back to your pushing this.
it's the pushing, but I can
Yes.
even give you a little bit in between that, because there's that part, meeting all them people 12, 13. But then there's another time when I'm going back there is 18, 19. And this is a funny story because I probably was a little bit older, but when the club reopened,
Okay.
Ronnie Scott died and Pete King died. These are the people that owned it. Two British Jewish, typical born in Cockney Jewish people that came, immigrants, got into the jazz. It's a worldwide phenomenon. In the 1920s, 30s, Ronnie Scott, Pete King, they opened up this jazz club, bring over Black musicians, try and celebrate the music. They died. I knew them too, got to meet them when I was young. Interesting people. But when Pete King died, this businesswoman called Sally Green took over. And it changed. It wasn't the same. Musicians complaining. But Winton came. And if Winton come, then you wearing the finest suit you got, and you
And you're
just
talking
looking.
about Wynton Marsalis,
Yeah,
right?
Winton Marsalis.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah. So Winton Marsalis.
No, that's okay.
Who also is this person that was, 15, 16-year-old. You're meeting him, you're getting to know him. He's giving you love and everything like that. And he came, and he came for a week. Winton come is like the whole town go crazy. So,
Right,
everyone,
right.
and he come for a week. So, I'm going there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, looking good too. Suits, nice, everything. So now the fourth night, Chris King, Pete King's son, he says, "You've been here too much." I said, "What do you mean?"
Oh,
I said, "What do you mean I've been here too much? I'm with Britain." He say, "You're banned.
oh, oh,
Don't
wow.
ever come back in here." This is before the gig even start. There I was in my suit, my pink tie, everything, my spat shoes, trombone in hand, had to walk out like a shame of life. But you see, God, 4 years later, we are now running the thing. So, it's all a journey.
Yes, and persistence is key.
God's determination, faith, trust, and belief.
Yes, yes,
And meditation, chanting, prayer, wherever the thing you're into. But that is the one. You have to have faith.
yes, yes,
If you
yes.
have no faith, ain't nothing happening. You have to trust the faith that it's going to happen. And
Right,
then belief that your faith and trust will make the thing happen.
right, right. No, I agree. Wow, that's interesting. So, um, let's talk a little bit more about Wynton Marsalis. Do you think he's
Okay.
kind of misunderstood as a traditionalist, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yes. Because they don't know what he's saying. They don't understand what he's about. This man is he don't have to play Duke Ellington's music for 30 years. He's been doing it. He don't have to play Count Basie's music. He chosen to do that for a spiritual reason, that the world still remembers these people. And also
Right,
too, we wouldn't my generation wouldn't even know Louis Armstrong if it wasn't because of Wynton Marsalis. You know what I
right,
mean? We just
right,
because we just, he made all of that part of the music aware for us. And also when I was young, hearing that early music was dry. Because when I went in London, when I go in here and they call it Dixieland, ain't no Dixieland, it's New Orleans music, but that's how they call it.
hmm
It's like, what the hell's Dixieland? But you go here to Dixieland, you're like, this has nothing to do with me,
right,
because
right, right,
it's some old papas playing it. They don't look like you.
right,
You have your ignorance at that age, and it's just like, and this sounds like some old corny music. But then
right.
Wynton come and he come and do the Louis Armstrong. You just like, this sound like funk.
Yes, yes.
What
hmm
the hell is, and that's what I'm saying, in the sense that, because of those reasons, we are more aware. So he is very misunderstood, of course, because they don't understand what he's about. They don't
Right,
understand what he's about.
right,
If it
right,
ain't for this man, a lot of us be ignorant out here. Many of us, black, white, everyone, and that's a sacrifice he's made. Because
mm,
he got his own music too. You don't have to be out there playing Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington music all these years, but he make a
right,
choice
right,
so we can have an awareness of those people.
right, right. Is
Because
that kind of what that help inspire you as well to do that? I mean, 'cause
yes, yes, yes,
you
yes,
guys pay
yes,
homage that way.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, very much so. Just the awareness and the consciousness of that, and
right,
also you don't have to be like that. You can just be out here doing your thing. You don't have to think about no Louis Armstrong, Count Basie, and that also is something you have to actually have a spiritual thing within you, and an understanding of like who you are as an artist. Because
right,
as an artist, you have a mission, and a mission is to promote the art. Not just participate in it as I'm going to be on stage, but you have to be the greatest promoter of the music. You have to tell people. People ain't always
right,
going to like the thing, so you have to
right.
defend it, and you have to let people know about these people, ancestors.
Yes, yeah, yeah. That's it. And you guys did. I mean, you guys definitely helped us feel it. I mean, it was not just
How? Tell me how. I want to know. I want to know we're doing
well,
a good job.
well, it was captivating. I mean, sometimes you can see when people just perform. To me, it's a difference between just like a performance. Like, okay, they can just this what is it? Just kind of
Just going through the
mediocre.
motions.
Yeah, and just but you guys really had such a magnetic feel. I mean, it was captivating. It told a story, and I really appreciated that. The music told a story, so it just drew you in. And if you didn't know the artist, you wanted to know more about them once that was over. And just I think the chemistry that you guys have together as well helps a lot. You guys definitely, I mean, you could tell it's a family. I mean, you could tell that it's a togetherness. It's a village there. It's all together, telling these stories. So that made it very powerful as well for me. I mean, I know people in the audience were just, I mean, nobody was, how sometimes you go to places people are talking or maybe moving around. It was none of that. It was just so electric. So, I mean, people just were really just drawn to it. So that's what I felt. I mean, the story was
Thank you so much.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It was great.
Thank you.
So I just want to know kind of what do you feel the connection between prayer and music? Because I know you talked about having faith and you talked about, just having that belief. And, I know some people call it manifestation. Some people call it, different terms for it. How do you feel those two connect for you?
Well, music is a form of prayer.
Yes.
If we're really going back among the history of what music was first created, as it was created as a function to praise the gods and the ancestors.
Yes.
That is why music is sacred. And that is why it is one of the tunnels of the gods, because it's universal and you can't see, you can't feel it. It's something that is, it's an invisible.
Right.
And
Right.
only those things like that power, is connected to the gods. So it's a sacredness to it. And if you want to have some sort of aspiration in your music to uplift people, prayer is important.
Yes.
And and what's more important is that you generalize it. And you don't talk about religion. For me, always the writers who could do that well, especially when we talk about Black rhythm and blues music. We talk about Earth, Wind and Fire inspirational lyrics. We talk about Roy Ayers inspirational lyrics. We talk about Gil Scott-Heron inspiration. Those people have always been Stevie Wonder inspirational music. They're talking about everything. They're talking about God, but Stevie Wonder's talking about the whole thing, and his music is a form of prayer music too. So we have it. Sometimes we call some of our songs prayer songs. Sometimes they read like that, and I believe that prayer is real. We did a whole chat about this prayer. It's good to be doing it again because prayer seems to be. We did a thing last week with Boyce, who was great, and it's good to be talking about the prayer because prayer is. And I said it last week. I said, what's messed up prayer is that people connotate it with religion.
Right.
It's like they think if you're not believing Jesus and you're not believing Allah, or you're not believing. Prayer was meant for everybody. Because that's really the prayer is also an extension of meditation and all those things and chanting, all those things that we do.
Yes.
It's all connected to prayer. So it has an importance to be put in many different contexts. You put it in music, you put it here, you put it in poetry.
Right. No, that's what I really appreciate how you said that too. How the beginning of what music was all about, because I think we've lost sight of that a little bit in some of today's music, and that's no judgment. It's just I think that I like how you went back to the roots of it and what it was for, and it is healing. I mean, for me, music has always been healing. I mean, if I'm happy, I could play certain music and just, pump that happiness up. If I'm feeling down, it's certain music that I'll play to kind of help with that as well. So I've always used that and prescribed it to others as a way of healing. I've told people, get in your living room, turn up your music and dance. I mean, I think about people on their way to if they're into martial arts or or even sports, they'll play music to kind of get themselves kind of jacked up. Music elevates us in certain ways and just kind of speaks to us in different ways. So I know one thing that you've talked about is how you believe music helps with depression. You believe that, and that's kind of like a part of your journey as well. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with depression?
Well, I just came out one about a week or so ago, so I'm just kind of strumming up.
Okay.
If you would have seen me a week ago, I would have been a different man. But it's so funny. I was talking to someone on the phone. Confronting it,
Yeah.
Acknowledging it, not being afraid of it. What gets us, I think, is that we're afraid of it, and then it consumes us.
Right. Right.
And then we don't even have any strength to try and combat it. Talk to it. That's what I
Right.
do. I ain't gonna do it on the street, but talk
Right.
to that
Right.
spirit.
Right.
Talk to that spirit. Okay, what are you doing here today? Okay, why are you here?
Right.
Okay, like what? Like talk to it. Go in the bathroom and just talk to it. I'm telling you, I'm not crazy.
I don't
I'm
believe that
telling
you
you.
are.
I'm telling you, if you talk to it,
Yeah.
you have to develop a relationship with it so that you can actually tell it to move on.
Right.
How you gonna tell it, or how you gonna stop it if you don't communicate with it?
Right.
That's the
Right.
problem. We've darkened the spirit of depression so what? So we don't even we just let it come. It just crushes
Exactly.
us.
Right. Right. We are afraid to talk about it and deal with it. Yeah.
Talk to it. Talk to it. Talk about it. It's cool. We all have it. We
Yes.
have it. It's good. It's good for us too. Then we come back up. You don't want to stay in
Yes.
for forever, but we
Right.
come back
Right.
up.
But I think that's good that you mentioned that, because a lot of people do kind of have this idea that only certain people deal with these down moments, because a lot of us are too afraid to admit that we have down times, or if you are always viewed as the strong one, or people put these labels on you that you didn't even give to yourself. And so sometimes you feel like you're almost like you can let people down if you show that you're not, up at that moment. Because I know for myself, I love to laugh, I love to have a good time, I love to, I have a lot of high energy. But there are some times where I just don't feel like being, you know what I mean? I just want to just kind of
No,
not
I know.
be at that moment. But I found that people are so accustomed, when you are that person, they're so accustomed to you having that high energy, that when you don't, then it's like constantly, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's going, and it's like, it's not necessarily that it's anything wrong or that I want to talk about. It's just at this moment, I just don't feel like being that, having that type of energy. And that's balance. I think it's balance, like how you talked about, is healthy.
Balance.
That's balance. I mean, it's just a
Balance.
reality of life. And I think, as you stated, the more people just are honest with themselves and with each other. But you have to create a space for that to be able to be honest, right? I mean, do you agree with that?
Yes, you do. Because if you don't do it right, then it's gonna go a horrible way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you really with everything, it's always making yourself vulnerable if you're trying to get someone to open up.
Right. Right.
So if you're coming to someone with like trying to help them with it, you got to let them know you go through it too.
Right. Exactly. Be real.
Be real. And if you're talking to yourself, be even realer. Hey, you're about to get me now. Don't get what you doing. Like, why is this one here? Oh, because of the corona. That's why I had to do the few weeks. I was like, what's this one? Because I was steaming. But then, I was like, the spirit was like, hello, can we
Yeah. Right.
And you have to be real with that too. Like,
yeah.
The spirit needs a break. And sometimes that break is that thing.
Yes. No, that's true. It's all about balance. So how have you used your music? I mean, as healing. I mean, because even with your depression, I mean, do you sing in your living room? I mean, do you go out and just start shouting? I mean, there's so many ways to just let it out. How do you deal with it with your music?
Well, I have a squawk because a lot of our music is uplift. So I'm telling you, sometimes what gets me going is I have to look at myself in the mirror and say, "Did you write these lyrics?" This one, believe in yourself, and this one, and then I have to be like, see, what are you, a disgrace, or you gonna believe? So I actually,
you hold yourself accountable to your words. I like that.
I have to, because it's too much. It's like, Baba,
right.
You've written all these songs here about love and believe in yourself and get it shaking, and then it's like, now you ain't shaking. You better. So sometimes I have to read them lyrics.
Oh, sure.
Because I don't want to feel like a fake.
But that's the real part of it. And I love that because I mean I wrote something the other day that it kind of mentioned that, kind of how do I want to say it, where as a teacher is teaching you, they're also
Mhm.
teaching themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
that's it.
Yeah,
That's the real one.
right.
As you're guiding someone to the truth, you have to also be in that.
Right, right. And that kind of is what that sounds like, even with your music. You write those lyrics and you feel it at that moment, but then another moment, it's like, wait, you have to go back to that and remind yourself, like, wait a minute, I said I could do this, I can make it. And I think that's powerful to be able to even know and acknowledge that that is an option, to go
Hmm.
back to that and remind yourself and hold yourself accountable.
And I always wondered when we were putting the stuff together, like, you're gonna get the big OD. I call it the Big Depression, and you wait, But then it really has become this mirror, like
It's a
resolute
mirror.
or just want to know the God in you. What are you saying? So it's
Right, right. No, I like that. I mean, I like that you're aware of that because a lot of people just don't understand that we have to hold ourselves accountable to what we share with others, and that's really important. So I appreciate that. So I want to talk a little bit more about your group, MWENSO and the Shakes. I want to know how
yes.
that came about because, I read that you guys met each other at Juilliard. Is that correct?
A lot of them went there, but I
Okay,
really
okay.
met them more. I really met them. Really, the base was Jazz at Lincoln Center when I came over here to do that. That's really where. But a lot of them did. Whoop, you got me. A lot of them did go to Juilliard too.
Oh, so you
But
guys
I
didn't meet
met
there? Oh, wow.
no,
Okay.
no, no. I met most. I mean, all the people. Well, really, I'm gonna get some water. Give me 10 seconds. Is that all
Oh,
right?
go. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it. I hope you guys are enjoying this interview. It's so. He has a lot of energy. This is great. I'm loving it. So you guys remember, use music as healing. I am a strong believer in that.
Okay, my love.
So thanks for that.
So that's
We're
where you came back.
discussing this.
Vuyo was there. Vuyo was making fun of me.
Oh,
Vuyo says hello. He remembers you.
oh, that's okay. Tell him I say hey.
Okay. Okay. So what you saying? Oh, what was the question, my love?
Well, no, we were talking about how because I thought you guys met at Juilliard, but you guys just happened to all be there at different times and then met later.
No, 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 no.
Okay,
When we a commu- Ronnie Scott's right now. Ronnie
okay,
Scott's now was the place now where I first started the community there in the sense of the late night programming and stuff like that, and that created a scene and a community where a lot of great musicians came out of. Now Winton came and he saw that and he said, "You'd like to come over here and do it." So that took a few years, and eventually I came. But then that you had to start to work again, so that was creating another community, and through that,
right,
through cultivating and creating, then you find all these people.
right, right,
So it just was just like it's happening, it's brewing, and people are people are just glowing and coming with light to you, and that's really how the real large den of the community that was created there. And then also out of that, there's a lot of bands that came out of that community. Aunt the Shakes is one of them,
okay,
but there are many others that have figured out how to do what they do from, you could say, workshopping it for many years as we were figuring it out in that place and time, at Jazz
okay.
Lincoln Center.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
that's really
Wow.
how the Shakes came out, and it was for a lot of people a very. I mean, for me, it was. I'm very blessed because there's a lot of different periods, and I'm
Right.
and I'm still a baby, So it's like we
We're
ain't
ever
even we
learning.
ain't even got there yet, and you still
Yeah.
can be looking like, man, it's been a blessing.
Oh yeah, I mean your life. I mean it sounds like something out of a book. I mean, all the different stops you were able to make along your journey, especially with music. I mean, I love jazz. I love all different genres of music, but just to know that you were able to be around so many great people and be influenced by them. I mean, you definitely could see the love of music in what you guys did, on stage. So it was really,
Thank
really,
you.
really nice.
Thank
So
you.
I know you spoke of some greats that influenced you, but who else influenced you on your journey? With music, like who kind of inspired you to follow it? Because it's not easy doing what you do. So you have to kind of feel very purposed or driven by something. You know what I mean? Like something has to drive you to keep going because it can't be easy touring and doing all. I'm sure it can be a little bit much. So, what kind of keeps you motivated? Who inspires you to kind of keep going, or what inspires you to keep going? I should say.
Well, I would say that for me, it comes from a sense of loneliness, being a lonely child,
Yeah.
and out of that lonely child that didn't know his father and his mother was deported and blah 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 blah.
Oh, she was okay.
Out of
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and out of that, you get the want to find people. You get the want to create these communities that one was blessed to do, and in that becomes still the inspiration. That
Gotcha.
the lonely boy is still the inspiration for the
Mm.
manhood or the
Wow.
humanhood.
Okay. Right.
So that really, and anything that boy was thinking about, dreams, aspirations, loneliness. When will I ever find brothers and sisters? That still is one of the drives, but that's the most deepest one because it comes from a certain place. Of course, there's artistic drives
Right.
and
Right.
people you were inspired by, but if the main foundation comes from that, because all of our things come from the childhood.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That really, if the childhood is a shake, then that really puts the adulthood in a certain thing.
Sure.
So for me, the childhood was and is the inspiration.
That wanting to belong to something, to have that community.
To, wanting to belong, wanting to find love, and wanting to find people that you could enjoy this music that you're listening to on your own at 11, 12 years old. You don't have nobody listening to James Brown. You don't have nobody listening to Count Basie. You don't have nobody listening to Duke Ellington with. And then that becomes a drive to you that just
Sure.
funnels and becomes larger over the years, but it comes from the same thing.
Right, right. Wow, yeah. Okay, I can dig that. And then when people, if they followed you in your group, you guys have a very unique style. So
Mm-hmm.
has that always been kind of the style, or was it something that you guys kind of cultivated together, or did you just all
We
kind of
didn't
have?
we didn't stop sounding like that. That has something that we were definitely playing more straight, and I say straight. I I would say that really the freedom has become deeper, and always the music, in a sense of the wideness of the places we try and go. We try and do the music in the kind of like way that you hear all the music in a certain way, but not just the
Right,
jazz, the rhythm and blues, and the African, and the da 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 da. And then also to be able to, for me, it's again that boy, the boy that liked Chuck Berry, the boy that liked BB King, the boy that liked Mahalia Jackson, the boy that liked Cedar Walton. That freneticism of what he was checking out is really what and how kind of the shakes and what the sound can be like in a sense of
right,
how it flows. But it really stems from me and that point of time when I was in that period of just the what's this?
right,
But it also comes from just an understanding that people need to hear the music. People need
right,
to hear People need to hear the hard jazz swinging. People need to hear the blues. People need to hear the funk. People need to hear it all, because there's not a lot of you don't have a lot of groups that play the root music in a way like that.
right,
That
right.
we're
That's
trying to
true.
do. That which I'm not saying we're doing it, but in the way that the aim is to play
You
the
guys are
root
doing
music.
it.
Oh,
Right.
thank you. But
You
to
guys
play
are,
the root,
yeah.
no, thank you. I appreciate that. To be able to play the root music, the black root music,
Right,
but there's other things because that little boy was not only checking that, he was also checking Gilbert and Sullivan,
right,
British art songs, stuff like that, Elgar, so that also is what you hear too. There's always this connection between, yes, the Afro-American root music, but also that British energy of the dramatic energy that we can get into, the theatrical side, which comes from a lot of the love of the British art music and stuff like that.
Right.
So it really is the spirit of the child.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty deep. I appreciate that. So tell me, I mean, I know you talk about, your childhood and, dealing with depression and stuff from time to time, like we all have.
Mm.
How has music really healed you? Like, how do you find it in such a way to where, um, I mean, I know for me, there's times where it just makes everything okay. I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. It just makes it all okay at that moment. It's like, okay, I'm good right now. So I know you said, you kind of talk to the spirit and you talk to different things, but how is your music, and I guess you kind of covered that in regards to, holding yourself accountable
Mm.
by it. But what other ways has it healed you, if any?
What has given me the reason to be something in the world.
Oh yeah, purpose. Yeah.
When I look at what God has blessed me with, and what my ancestors have blessed me with, it is music that has been, the gods have used music to lift my life,
Oh
and it's
sure.
and and for me, because of that understanding and that acknowledgement, the healing is always consistent.
Wow. Right.
So you just look at like where it's taking you and you go, okay, this is deep.
Right. Right.
You came from Africa to England and now you're in the States. And the fruit bread of what took you to the places, especially the last two, is music.
Right.
So
Right.
with that in itself, the healing takes place and moves and stilts in your mental and your spiritual and your physical. So even when you are depressed, again, you can come with what you're doing. You've seen what it's done for you. You
Right.
let it heal you.
Right. You let it. Right. Right. You allow music to be the healer. I love that. And I heard you guys had a new song that you guys, I saw it on YouTube, that you guys made during quarantine, right? Yeah.
Stop
I mean,
playing them games.
yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So what motivated that song? Tell me about it.
Well, really, we had a thing we were doing, which is not happening now. Beautiful arts venue in Brooklyn,
Oh,
called the National Sawdust, doing great things.
okay.
They gave us a commission to write some new music for. It would have been some sort of production with a script and da 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 da.
Okay.
It was being made. Of course, it's not happening now, Corona. But that was some of the new stuff I wrote for it. And then
Right.
when
Right.
Corona happened, I just thought I'd fiddle here and change this and change that and just make it more pertinent to what's going on in the
Right.
world,
Right.
and that we should, and the song wasn't anyway about us to stop playing games with the world, to stop treating it the way we have,
So tell me about
and for us.
that. Tell me about
Go ahead.
that. I kind of because for me this has been really a telling thing with everything that's going on in nature. I mean, with the coronavirus or whatever. And I've just kind of been on this mission of saying, this is kind of not us learning a lesson, but helping us be a little bit more aware of how we treat each other, the world. I mean, nature, all of that. And I just feel like this is, a lesson time for us. So I want you to tell me what you mean when you say stop playing games with the world
Well,
right now.
we have treated it so badly.
The
And
world, right? Yeah.
the world,
Hmm.
not even ourselves. That's one of a book, just in the sense of the world. And when we say games, we say, what we're doing is bad.
Right.
So this is a game.
Right.
You shouldn't be putting that into the water.
Right.
That shouldn't be what's in the meat. That shit. And I eat the meat, so I got to figure that one out because I'm a disgracing bowl. We should not be eating the meat or fish.
Right.
But
Right.
we'll get there. And I love
Yeah.
everyone that's
Yeah.
But we killing, we kill. Why are we playing games? We know this is bad.
Right.
Like you know, and also for us to be real with that. I think one of the lyrics is like, deepen yourself and your true soul.
Right.
Do not let yourself, don't resist your true self now. You know, like
Right.
don't like, be for real. So that, stop playing them games. It's like, come on, come on, come on. We gotta be better.
Yes.
Gotta
Yes.
be better. We got to be better. Carry on. Don't waste your time. That's another lyric in there. That's like, Corona, I know it's rough. Carry on. Don't waste your
Right.
time. Let's keep it moving.
Right.
So there's messages in there that is for and for the out too.
Yes.
For yourself, and also what we kind of, it'd be nice if we kind of check ourselves too.
Right. Oh, this is definitely a moment in time where we definitely need to check ourselves. And like you said, how we
Spiritual reset.
yes, yeah, reset. That's the word
Spiritual
I've been
reset.
saying over and over again. This is definitely a time to take advantage of this and just reset because it was so interesting when we were told to kind of stay inside. People were so upset about it. Of course, I mean that's natural. People kind of revolt and feel like they have to fight it, but I was like, wow, this is really a good time to just stop and like slow down because we're all so busy. We're all moving, moving, moving. And to take this time to really reset and just kind of reevaluate some things, reassess. So all of those words was something that were going through my brain in regards to this moment in time. I know people are tired of it, but I really hope that people use this time to really take advantage of the opportunity to be able to kind of look at themselves, like you said, look at what they're doing and what they're putting out to the world. I mean, I know people who have started businesses during this time. They've started, and even if you're not busy starting a business, just being able to sit back and learn how to meditate or be one with yourself, that's a beautiful thing, just as big, So I really
If
appreciate what you said, reset. What'd you say? I'm
if
sorry.
if everyone don't come out of this knowing meditation, they should be slapped. Because this is the time. And I don't mean
Yes.
that's the only shake. If you want to chant, if you want to pray, just let's just be one. We are one. Let's be one.
Right,
You
right.
know.
Learn how to be still. And I think this is a moment in time where it can really teach you how to learn how to be still. And like you said, be okay with being by yourself. I mean, that's something that we have to learn because I know a lot of people who can't be, they don't know how to be by themselves and they
No.
do get sad because of that, because they're really not, in tune with self. So, when you are there and it's just you and your thoughts, it can be a bit much. So that's why I really appreciate, your music and the Shakes music. I mean, because everybody just was, I mean, and the lady that I don't know her name that does the tap dancing.
Michaela Marino Lerman. She's
Oh, she is
incredible.
fire. Oh my goodness. I mean, she just was, I took tap dance as a child
Ah.
only a couple years, and my mother and my aunt were next to me while we were at the concert, and I was just so into the tap dance, and I'm just like, oh my
No,
god, this is just
she's
amazing.
incredible.
And my mother whispers to me, she said, all that money I spent, for you to tap dance, you can't do none of that.
She's amazing. She's amazing. She comes from a long line of the tap dancing history and the elders. And
Oh
she
well.
really is, she does that. She just does that. She
Oh,
does it.
she is electric. She is electric. Well, I just want to just really thank you for being here today. I just appreciate it so much. It just was such an honor for you to even take the time. I know you guys are busy, maybe taking a break too because of everything going on with. So you guys have something coming up in June, right?
Maybe we do. What was that you were talking
I
about
think
though?
I saw something because I was trying to do my research and look around, and I think I saw something in California, maybe.
No, that ain't happening now. That's
They
been
canceled it.
squashed. That's been squashed. But
Okay.
we do have some stuff, some more live stream stuff that we're gonna be doing.
Okay.
In June, we're gonna do something with Joe's Pub. Great organization here. They've asked us to do a concert for them. That would be I think first week of June. But I also need to give you some love before we get off. I need to tell you about who you are and thank you. I'm going to give you a few minutes, so you just remember something. I want you to just know that it's very beautiful and important that you're doing this,
Mm.
especially as a woman, Black woman,
Mm-hmm.
that is wanting to expose the world to what's going on and giving artists a platform and taking it upon yourself to do this on your own. I know this is not easy. I know there's not so much help around to do this as a woman doing this, trying to do it. We love you. We respect you. I see
Oh,
what
thank
you're
you.
doing, and we are thankful for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I'm so thankful for this space to be able to have this conversation. I'm really much into the arts. So, music, painters, I mean, whatever, anything that's an expression of yourself. I think it's so important. And of course, like in schools, a lot of programs are being taken away. So children are not exposed to that. It's such a healing part of life. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
it just the wellness you get, from being exposed to different arts. And it's just a tragedy that a lot of them are being taken away. And some kids are, especially in different communities, where they don't have funding. They have funding for one thing and one thing, not the other. But I think it's important. I think it's important for musicians to speak up about music and to expose, especially the younger children, to music. I mean, it's really important to be able to have that outlet.
Yes, very much. It's something which is very apparent and real, because you're not it's changing in a sense of, the outreach, and and how it's happening, how we're trying to connect with, the people that may not have the ability to always now be fortunate and privileged to get to the arts, because that's what
Right.
almost has become. And we don't want that. And now with this corona thing, I feel like the darkness, it's not gonna happen. We're gonna fight it. But I feel the
We have to.
darkness wants to come with a vibe of like the arts, we're gonna make it more privileged. We're gonna make it even more, because I feel like with this, and I have my own theories about the corona, but I'm not gonna go into it.
Yeah,
But
because that could be a whole nother.
that's a whole nother show.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I feel that some of the darker energy will try and make the arts more privileged through a lot of the kind of coming down of the arts now through corona, a lot of art centers closing, jaga, and clubs. They're gonna try and make it more privileged, but we're not gonna let that happen.
No, no, no. That's so important that you said that, because I know I was reading an article the other day about how depression and suicide rates have gone up. Domestic
Wife
violence
beatings.
rates,
Yeah.
yes, have gone up. Which, I mean, of course, when we know the method behind that, it makes perfect sense that is happening. But that's why I really felt really driven to see if you could come on and talk about music, because I think it's so important for people to know that even though we know we'll turn on a song and really, not really, I don't think sometimes we connect the energy between the sound, the sound waves and our beats, our heartbeats. They connect and they go together, and there's certain things that we need, because right now it can be a dark time for some, and I think that music is a way for people to find that outlet. So I appreciate artists. I appreciate what you guys do, because when I was looking up new songs, I saw the one you guys just did, and it was so powerful. You want to say the name of that song again?
Stop playing them games. We ain't really we just did the we ain't really released it out there. We should, because you said it was powerful. So we
And I want to
should
make
put
sure
it out
people
there.
know it's them. It's not them. It's them.
No. It's not them. It's them.
DEM. Just so y'all
because
know.
even I'm gonna shout out somebody that's with us. Miles Wilkins, he's kind of the extended family of the Shakes. He's watching, and he even wrote it first. Them games. I said no. DEM.
DM, because we want to emphasize.
Yes.
That's what we do. That's funny. Well, again, I really appreciate you being here and taking the time to do this. One day, I'm gonna have the whole everybody, the Shakes, everybody will come on here. You
Please.
guys can, because I love the journey, and like I said, when I did research on you and just kind of looked at your journey, it just was very inspiring. And I think that other artists, young artists, should see that, because the one thing that you talked about, that drive, that persistence, got you where you. And I'm a very persistent person, so I really appreciate that in other people.
What's your sign?
I'm Scorpio.
Wow. What, like October or November Scorpio?
November.
November what?
1st.
Wow. Scorpio women, though, I love them. They're deep. They're very deep. They're not as, actually, the men are actually kind of the ones with more of the fire, in a sense of like,
that is true.
They got that claw, that Scorpio claw, but the women they're fun. They're fun.
Yes, we definitely have a certain energy, that is for sure, and you can get different sides of that. So that is for sure. And I just I don't lost my train. lost
No,
my
I was but
mind.
Scorpio, but I get along with Scorpio. Taurus and Scorpio, we get along
Mhm.
very well. We get
Okay.
along very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 But what I was saying is that I really, want, especially like the young people to really hear this and like really, tap into the music side to be able to help them through this. I know parents who are dealing with stuff as well, because they're trying to be strong for kids trying to be strong for,
Mm-hmm.
and music is a healer. So I really wanted to just kind of emphasize that today. So I appreciate it. But I do want to hear you guys come on one day. You guys can kind of talk about your story all together because you guys
That'd be nice.
are just so much fun. I mean, it was just so nice watching you guys together because it was just such a chemistry. So I truly
Thank
appreciated
you.
that. Because that's real to me. That's a real heart, which is behind like music. You know what I mean? Like when you have that heart
Mm-hmm.
behind the music, it just comes across way differently than when it's just commercial.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I hear
So,
you. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that we come out like that. That's what you feel.
oh, for sure, for sure. So, everybody, I just want to tell everybody to make sure they check out MWENSO and the Shakes.
When's on the Shanks?
Yes, to look you guys up. You guys are phenomenal and still growing,
Oh,
still
thank
getting
you.
stronger, still
Yes.
getting bigger. So,
Yes. Yeah,
I,
just we gotta keep going. And for anybody out there that's losing hope, it's all right. It's gonna be all right.
yep,
It's gonna be
yep.
all right.
Okay. Well, again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I wish you a great evening. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We love you. I love you. I told you what I think about you. And we just wish blessings to you that this continues to get deeper and greater. And we hope to do it again.
Thank you. Oh, we will do it again. But that's what I was going to talk about. That persistence. That's where I lost my train of thought. But I wanted to say I appreciate that. So I was going to say that I appreciate that, and I hope that the kids and people who are watching really take note of that because that's how you get to where you need to go. Don't stop.
It's true. It's hard, but you got to try.
Oh yeah,
You
oh
got to
yeah.
try.
Well, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you for taking time out tonight to be with us here at the Breaking Bread Village, and it was so nice. And I wish you well, peace, and blessings.
Thank you. Mwah. Thank you, my love.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys. Well, again, I appreciate everybody for being here today. We have MWENSO here, Michael MWENSO from MWENSO and the Shakes. Again, I really encourage you to check them out on YouTube. They are phenomenal. It's a great band. They have such energy and so much chemistry. Check them out. And hopefully when we get to go back out to different concerts and stuff, you guys can, catch them and you will not regret it and you won't forget it. So thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight at the Breaking Bread Village. Have a great evening. Thanks. Bye.